what is dollar cost averaging? That's what I want to talk about in this video. A very investing 101 topic, one that's very straightforward and one that, quite frankly, is very easy as long as you understand these two questions, which I promise you'll understand to ask yourself. And as long as you understand these questions and as long as you know how to do division, you will be just fine when it comes to dollar cost averaging and understanding it. But in all actuality, this is just a general knowledge video because your broker is going to keep track of all this for you. But from, again, a general knowledge perspective, understanding what's going on, it's smart to understand this concept and how it's all working. So dollar cost averaging at the core is just a question of, well, what is your average share price? What is your average price of whatever you own? So I will be talking shares because I'm going to be talking about it relative to the stock market, but just understand that this concept, is the same for whatever asset class you're trading. So if you're trading cryptocurrencies or Forex or anything, the math, the idea still works the same, but just from a terminology standpoint, I'm going to be saying shares because that has to do with, stocks in the stock market. But what it's assuming is a couple things. The first thing that dollar cost averaging is assuming is that you're going to make multiple purchases. You're not just going to buy a stock once and then that's it. Now, you can do that, but from a dollar cost averaging point of view, you're going to be making multiple purchases. But with each purchase, you're going to have different prices. So, for example, let's say that purchase number one is at $100. So you buy the stock at $100, and then the stock comes down here, and then purchase number two, the stock is at $85. Okay, and then the stock kind of fluctuates up here, and then purchase number three is at $92. Okay, and then the stock fluctuates down, and purchase number four is at $67. And then so on and so forth, right? Because that's what a stock does, up and down, up and down. But the idea of dollar cost averaging, all it means, like I said, nothing complicated, is you're just going to make multiple purchases. There, and this just represents time, meaning as time goes by, you're just going to keep buying things, and you're going to be, just accumulating shares, right? You're going to just be getting more and more over time. However, that does bring up the question is, okay, but what is the actual average of my share price? Because I bought at 100 and then 85 and then 92 and then 67. So the dollar cost averaging just refers to what is your cost basis? And a cost basis is just the average price that you own something of. And now cost basis, if you've talked to your accountant, this comes up quite a bit as, okay, well, depending on your cost basis, this, or depending on it, that. But at the core, a cost basis just tells you what is the average price that you own of a share. And, and this is where it becomes important, because if you've only made one purchase, then it's very easy, right? So if purchase number one was $100, well, your cost basis is $100 because, well, that's what you bought it for. And that's why I say this dollar cost averaging, it doesn't come into play if all you do is make one purchase, because your dollar or your cost basis, it is what it is. But when you're doing it over time and making multiple ones, that's your dollar cost average is shifting around. But how do you actually know what your average cost basis is? And this is up here where we go to the questions that I alluded to earlier. So question number one, you need to ask yourself and just keep track of was, well, how much money have you invested into this stock? And you're going to know that amount, right? Your broker's going to tell you, yeah, you've bought this amount of stock. And then the second question is, okay, well, I bought that amount of stock. I have total, amount. How many shares do I actually own? And you just divide those out. And that's going to give you your cost basis. That's going to give you your current average share price. Now, if you go and make another purchase, so let's say, you goes back up here and now purchase number 5, the price is up here at, 98. Well, what does that do? Well, that means that you have invested more money, right? So that's going to change that number. And that also implies what? Well, you bought more shares, so that's also going to change that. You're now going to have more shares. So just figure out, okay, well, what's the new amount of money that I have in total? And then how many shares do I own in total? And that's going to give you your new cost basis. That's going to tell you what this actually is. So dollar cost averaging is actually a strategy. And the strategy, again, is nothing complicated at all. It's literally just, I'm going to keep buying this stock over time. Now, that could be once every week. That could be once every month. That could be once every year. But if you're going to be buying something multiple times, you are now officially using a dollar cost averaging strategy. And then it just keep in the math, that's what's being done here. But like I said, at the core, Nothing fancy. All dollar cost averaging means is you're saying, yeah, I'm gonna make multiple purchases of the same thing over time. It can be on a schedule, it can be randomly, but if you're doing it, if you're having more than one purchase, you are, technically speaking, you are doing a dollar cost averaging. But to figure out what your actual average cost is because it can get messy, right? Here, okay, now what is it? The math is easy, but the broker will do it for you. So that's all it is. That's what dollar cost averaging is. It's a simple investing strategy where you're buying the same stock over time. And it can be scheduled out, it can be random, but it's just multiple purchases of the same thing. And if you want to figure out, okay, where does your cost basis stay at? Where is it at? Where is it now after each purchase? Like I said, ask yourself those two questions and it becomes very easy to do. Or just look at your broker because your broker is going to tell you what your average cost basis is. So hopefully this helps. If there are any other questions or comments, if you have any ideas for other just basic investing 101 type topics like this, please let me know down below. Comment, hit that like button. Thanks for watching. Hopefully this was helpful. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.